sAviOr Classic.
And we've begun the second match in sAviOr versus Flash on the map Andromeda. A pretty interesting map. So, sAviOr is down in this one game. In a game where it really looked like sAviOr had the advantage, but as the game picked up, it just got out of control, and Flash really just had too much momentum. I just don't know how to describe it otherwise. It just turned out that Flash's macro put sAviOr in a box and shipped him out of that game. Express delivery. Okay, so right now we can already see that sAviOr's Overlord is in fact in his find Flash right off the bat as the Overlord is scouting in the good position. Supply depot, typically, as we normally see it, next to the command center. Now, with a map like Andromeda, you do have that mineral natural in your main. So you have this this expansion that is very, very easy to secure. Only has 5 mineral patches, though. On the other hand, we have we do have this expansion over here that has the Vespian Gas Geyser that's more, I guess, what you consider the natural expansion. It's a little bit riskier to take, so I'm curious to see how these players are going to play this out, where they're going to expand to first, and how that's going to impact this game. And all right, so now we also see the Flash is going to, in fact, find his opponent first as well. Now, as the game... Okay, hold on. Sorry. They had to tell me something about that. About something, excuse me. Alright, I'm back. Now, fast pull for sAviOr. Now, Terran's build has turned out to be pretty typical so far. There's not that many options for deviation right at the beginning of the game. But then, as a few minutes picks up, there's so many options. It works out into so many different directions. So Zerg leads first. sAviOr was probably just a little bit anxious about the fact that his opponent might be bunker rushing him, and that's something to certainly keep in mind. Flash has a tendency when he's ahead in the game, he'll do something like he will rush early on, and when something like that happens, you don't want to have that. You don't want to be that player. We already saw him do that with Stork, and that's probably why sAviOr went for that early pool. So SCV's over here at the entrance to block this off. sAviOr probably not actually going to rush up the ramp, but is instead going to just force the Terran player to keep those SCVs there for as long as possible. sAviOr going for 2 hatcheries. This is pretty much what any good Zerg player would be doing. 2 hatcheries at each of the expansions. With this, he can certainly gain this kind of momentum that he wants, and I'm curious to see how that will actually impact a map like this, where Zerg can actually secure 2 expansions very early on. So, ouch. So this expansion will soon be thrown up for Flash. Fast Expo. Nothing out of the ordinary, though, to say the very least. Fast Expoing has become pretty popular, especially in the more recent metagame of StarCraft, as people are figuring out more techniques to kind of secure those expansions. Here's Flash's SCV. He will now realize that his opponent has taken both of these expansions. No, actually he will not, because 2 drones are blocking that off. Although I think it's pretty logical to assume that, in fact, any good Zerg player would have taken that other expansion with that hatchery. But sAviOr, playing it safe, puts those 2 drones at the ramp just in case, to kind of keep Flash wondering just a little bit more. Layer, pretty standard layer timing too. What we want to watch for is whether or not he's going to be getting the Den or whether or not he's going to be getting the Spire. Marines will chase those Zerglings out. And it'll be a few more minutes before this game kind of takes the next step in the evolution of how we're going to see these players respond to each other and how the game's going to evolve. So very withdrawn, very macro-oriented game right off the bat. And Aspire once again for sAviOr, the Maestro. sAviOr has to be kind of mentally broken right now. Especially after that game, which was kind of long and drawn out, and it was pretty much sAviOr started out winning, and then eventually it became this mudslide of lose in his face. And he just could not keep up with Flash. And since both players have kind of opted for a macro game, I'm curious as to how that's actually going to play out. I don't know if sAviOr can keep up with Flash's macro. Oh, but looks like sAviOr snuck in here with a few Zerglings, but has not yet taken SCV. There's one. The more SCVs he can get, the better. But unfortunately, he decided to instead go for a few of the Marines, which turned out to not be so successful. Uh-oh. sAviOr's Overlords do not have a good track record in this series. But his Mutalisks have a pretty good one, so we'll see how that, what happens there. Although I'm curious if he's going to have enough supply to make all 9 of those Mutalisks, considering that he's down. Let's be honest. He might have lost that Overlord. He might not be able to make all those. That's simply what I was trying to say. And here's a scan. Oh, scans the expansion, the hidden expo of sAviOr, and now he's going to go down there and deal with that. I don't think the Mutalisks will get out there in time. Factory followed up with a starport once that finishes. Bunker. Flash is going to be playing it safe as usual this game. And, oh no. Not another Overlord. I don't know if he got... He does not look like he was actually able to get all 9 of those Mutalisks because he has been losing Overlords pretty fast. Although he will probably have about 7. We see 5 here now. I think there's 2 more up on the way. But, oh, wow. You cannot do the same amount of damage. Things are already starting to not work out for sAviOr. Taking off a few Marines and then backing off. I'm curious. Very curious about how sAviOr can start to catch up. I said I'm curious a lot this game. Upgrades. Probably +1 attack for Flash. The game's going to be centered around, around sAviOr's Mutalisk harassment, which is now turning out to be that effective. And looks like he's going to try to move in here now with these Mutalisks and Zerglings, and it will turn out to be very effective. And wow, once again, Flash has made a major blunder at the start. While sAviOr did not manage to get up his expansion, it looks like Flash took out even more units than, sAviOr took out even more of Flash's units than last time in our previous game. 2 bunkers now, Flash into a defensive posture. And Science Facility will soon be out, making the Mutalisk harassment useless. But wow, look at how many turrets Flash has. Flash seems to have really learned his lesson from those previous games against his opponent and is now really starting to make a lot of these turrets in very good positioning. So the Mutalisks are continuing to keep Flash mad in his base. But it's only going to be a matter of time from when the vessel comes out and the Mutalisks become not so useful and sAviOr will be dependent on those lurkers. There are some lurkers right now. There are some more. And once again, he's actually going to expand at that location. This seems to be a critical strategic location for sAviOr to expand to, because normally you would not see somebody try to expo in the same hidden location twice. Irradiate being upgraded, as we can see in the science facility. Mutalisks sneaking through here now. Going to try to take this out. The SCV will go down. A casualty of sAviOr's mutas. He is now backing out. And it turns out sAviOr has realized he is just barely in a position that can actually manage to take off that depot. And that SCV. It was just a little bit too diligent at rebuilding that depot. Those drones are just chilling. Keeping it real. But soon they'll be hauling ass trying to get some minerals. There they go now. sAviOr is actually not doing as bad as I thought. Right at the start of the game, it looked like he was in terrible shape. Just like an awful shape. Losing so many Overlords in the Hidden Expo and then not getting all 9 Mutalisks out in time. That's a lot of units, though. I always seem to think sAviOr's not doing so bad, and then Flash decides to leave his base. Oh, man. sAviOr is going to have to approach that with a lot of caution. I think counterattacks are a good idea, but Flash already has the bunkers prepared. A surround is not a bad idea either, but you have to be very, very careful in something like that. And look, we can already see that Flash is producing an additional bunker. Stray SCV may have spotted, yes he did, the rest of those units. And now he's reorganizing himself to get ready for a possible squash. But it doesn't even look like sAviOr has the option of a surround. It looks like his entire army is, in fact, above on the map, above Flash. Making something like this pretty difficult. And look at this. The spotter SCV over here has now noticed this. And here comes Flash now, setting up in siege mode. And it's going to be a matter of seconds. And here he comes now, attempting to react, scorching the vessel, but a D-Matrix on the Marine, and I don't know if sAviOr's going to be able to hold it off. Here he comes now, throwing these lurkers! But, oh no, not at all. Not at all. And if he can come in at the right angle, Flash should be able to take out the rest of these lurkers with ease, and yes, he has. And whoa. Flash makes this look easy. It's like you just make many Marines a tank and a vessel, and that's apparently how you use sAviOr. We all, of course, know it's not that simple, but... Wow, okay, so you're right, he's just going to pretty much go in here and kill him now, I believe. I don't think that sAviOr has defilers yet. That would seem a little bit premature. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, so I think once he goes up the ramp, I think we can see a GG here. Looks like sAviOr has just gotten completely overrun by Flash. Here comes some even, talk about overkill. And he could even surround these lurkers, and here they come now, attempting to burrow, but it looks like the armor upgrade for those Marines is proving to be quite effective, and they were not taken out in good game. A very, very effective game here. And I have to say, I am very impressed with Flash. And I think that, to be honest, I mean, I did think that Flash was probably going to be the winner of that group, but I was not expecting to be that much of a winner. I mean, he just completely walked over him. And now we're going to have a Terran versus Terran final here at the GOM TV Averatec-Intel Classic. What's not going to be a very exciting event. Stay tuned. We have a best of 5 with Mind against Flash on all these Newcastle matches. Stay tuned. 'Cause no one does and no one will. I won't ever be free.